They have a lot of early game potential, especially around the top side. Tristana, Poppy, and Renekton unlikely to lose any early skirmish. That could be their place to work from. I will be interested to see if Bruce does go for more AP after his Shiv, or if he's just going to commit to the normal build.
I doubt it. There's not really any straight tanks. There's just more off tanks coming through.
Especially not Kongyue's Gragas. He will not build tank.
That's right.
He's got first strike treasure hunter. I love that.
Guy's trying to get himself some gold. And as you touched on in the draft phase too, pretty impressive beyond doing their homework, realizing how to play this draft pretty much to perfection. Leaving open that Gragas, banning the Gangplank, which is something that Driver likes, into the Jax, picking up the Gragas immediately out of those bans.
Yeah.
I think actually...
Oh, you go.
That's actually a pretty big deal that Driver misses that Q, but the minions
he
aren't
doesn't get the bone plating, or does he take second wind?
Jax usually takes second wind in the matchup, but it is still nice. It gives you some fury as well as just... He will have it available back before the minions are here, but it is nice because you do lose that level 1 as the Renekton generally.
I was going to say before that, you speak of BYG doing the homework, but how crazy is it that they're the team that, in theory, got scouted, right? They had to show stuff. Admittedly, not a whole lot up against Bliss, but they did have to show some picks. And I think it's also, later into the split, they had a very clear playstyle. So J-Team had all the time in the world to download the information, and yet they still give over Kai'Sa 3 times in a row.
Yeah, that feels a bit weird.
Yeah, but it feels like they have looked to heavily target 1116 as the kind of person who gets things started for the team, and I think that's fair, and those are good bans, but I think also you've got to consider that Keres is another big enabler, and as long as someone is getting Betty and Kongyue ahead, they will take it home from there.
Definitely. And so far, obviously, with the 2-0 scoreline they currently have, it's been happening. Driver with push up on this top side. Now, minions reaching Lakai's tower does make it a little bit harder for the Renekton, but ultimately will be fine. Not a whole lot of trades, though, happening across the rift, although Minji, as I say, that does jump forward with that rocket jump, gets that satchel onto 116, and it's a decent trade there. I think all things considered. Again, Minji should be pretty favored in this matchup, has been better than 116 on these AD mids. And you're seeing it in the early stages.
Yep. We did see this matchup, I believe it was yesterday, Missions Jace up against Kize's Tristana, and normally, at least in the PCS, we've seen Triss being the one that kind of gets advantage early, and then once Jace picks up the Dirk, especially once Jace completes the first item, it starts to go the other way. We'll have to see how it goes here. Because yesterday, at least, Jace was kind of winning all game long. Could just be the mission effect, as of course very good in the laning phase. Anyway, maybe looking for something mid. They can use the Jace E to cancel the rocket jump.
Oh, he's slurping up his drink. Minji holding it. Is going to just get absolutely comboed. First blood. That was played to perfection.
Yeah, that was so nice.
Wow.
How good are BYG?
Yeah, they're crazy. BYG in the summer playoffs. I believe they made it to Worlds last time. Looking to do so once again. Lalva, though, coming to this mid lane isn't anything for him to find. Maybe was just trying to see if he could stop that recall. Won't be able to do so. But this is going to shake up that mid matchup a fairly substantial amount. Minji holding on to that flash.
He probably just thought he was safe, maybe just thought this was a trade coming out in the 1v1. Because if it is just a 1v1, he's completely fine. But by the time it's committed, he is just dead to rights. Doesn't have the opportunity to flash. So really well played there from BYG. Kongyue clearly happy with the outcome. Got himself the first blood. And now has an alternator.
His treasure hunter.
Yeah, big money.
First strike treasure hunter. Guy's got stocks.
Top lane, Driver is getting some good trades. A lot of the time we see Renekton just winning out early. It does feel like it takes quite a lot of time for Jax to be the one turning this matchup around. And for the Herald especially, Renekton going to be a lot stronger. Which could be a big deal, especially when you've got a Tristan on your team. I believe J-Team, they got both neutrals last game, and admittedly did get the Dragon Soul off it, but didn't get the win.
Yeah, they got pretty much everything, except the Elder Dragon and the Baron. Which, yeah, you'd argue are the most important two objectives, but sometimes the Soul can be.
The Nexus too.
True, that gives 50 gold.
It's a big lead. Resets will come out. Nice little sidestep there. Dragon is alive. That will cancel Enzo's base, so he's probably going to stay on the map, or will he go? He's going to reset again. But this is a much better start to the Kai Cesari matchup than before. You saw that Bruce, I think about this time last game, was 20 CS up and 1-0-1. Now is actually slightly behind. And should be Betty in a much better position to carry a game that you feel like BYG have the better draft and have the better start.
Yep. Lava not having a great time in his jungle. You see Minji jumping forward. This guy's pretty ruthless.
Damage does go wide there. They are going to shove this wave, and I would be pretty surprised to see J-Team try and start up the Dragon. I think you do want to just play towards the Renekton on the top side. If you're BYG, I think you just give the Herald and you try and play to deny Bruce on bot side, because I think if you can get Betty more plates, if you can deny Bruce more gold, especially when you have a very low chance of winning that Herald fight anyway, it should look really, really good. Kongwei, he spent a lot of time around mid, so just ensuring that the priority is there. Lakai is starting to fall behind, but has a pretty big wave to collect, so not as behind as it appears. Still, though, it is a sizable lead for Driver, who even still has his TP, and Lakai does not, so perhaps just getting outlaned here. Part of it is, of course, the strength of the Renekton early, but...
Gonna give himself a plate.
Yeah. I really think, especially with how top lane is going, BYG really should just give up this Herald and try trading the bot side. I think if you can take away that second red, grab the Dragon, and dive or just push Bruce off the bot tower, that just feels so, so good.
Have a pause.
Looks like a Kongwei audio issue.
Kongwei can't hear the screams of his enemies. Gonna have to get that sorted out.
Could be. He's a bit of a savage, that guy.
He is. This guy repulses tank junglers. Even when he was put onto Maokai duty, it was first strike, entirely AP. This guy's pretty base as a jungler.
He is.
It's unfortunate that he picked jungle to be his role.
True. He does like Scuttle Crabs a bit too much for my liking, but everyone has a vice.
That's right. I know, I mean, all things considered, I think the game remains fairly even. Obviously, Minji going down for first blood gives Kongwei a pretty nice head start, but Driver's doing well in his lane, and bot lane's remaining relatively even. And I have to admit, there's a little bit less threat onto Bruce in terms of just straight up damage, although coming back to the game, it is 1116 who's being looked at, and Minji picking himself up a kill. Really nice find there from Lalva. Just straight flashing over the wall, securing that kill. Obviously punishing that flash, being down from 116.
Yeah, that's pretty huge. Especially ahead of this Herald is going to mean that they're even stronger for that. Kongwei will pick up that wave mid. So that gold isn't going to go to waste. But yeah, just really punishing the lack of flash from the J. Still has the Dirk, though. So it can be a credible threat. I think with how strong the Renekton is, though, that it is going to be hard. We'll see, because the way Kongwei is pathing right now...
Ooh, sixes for both 80 carries.
Yeah. Not going to go for it. I really do want to see Beyond just commit to playing for the bot side. We'll see what happens to 1116. I think it is just a flash over the wall. Even though he has the ward on it, admittedly, it's pretty hard to respect this gank angle because straight up, you just don't really expect it. But he doesn't have a lot of mana. Of course, does not have the flash. I think now probably should have walked away, but I guess it was kind of too late. And that's a kill picked up from Minji. Maybe this can be the game he turns his Tristana performance around.
Ooh, okay. Herald started. It's actually Kongwei in the top side. Looks like... Yeah, and that's a massive
maybe
trade.
now they can contest, because I think with the Renekton strength should be hard, but if mid is chunked out this hard and they have the priority, maybe there's a chance, especially if Driver can't get to this in time. Lakai is not going to be able to move. He's stuck on a tower. Okay, so Kongwei now will commit to the bot side. I wonder if it's too late, though, because they probably should have known this a long time ago. You could already be on that second red, and you could already be looking to punish Bruce on the bot side. Looks like they're just going to take away the Dragon instead. So better than nothing, but maybe not as much as you would have liked.
Definitely not. Now, we'll see where this is placed. Honestly, feels like top might not even be the worst decision, simply because there is already a plate taken.
Yeah,
Driver
just TP'd as well.
Yeah, Driver has a lead, and they might even just look to dive here. There is ults available.
They've got Enzo up here as well. Lakai's in big trouble, and if he goes down, that top tower, especially with the Herald, might go along with him.
This is very bad for Lakai. He goes forward and commits that Counter-Strike as well, and Driver immediately pouncing on him, using that dominance, and Lakai now without Counter-Strike and without really any way out. He does flash, but it's just too little too late. He's going to go down. Driver picking up that one. There is the Herald available. 3 plates remaining on this top tower. Is Lalva going to use it? Looks like he's not, which I guess makes sense because Kyrgios did find a roam timing up here to defend it. But again, huge lead here for Driver, who is finding himself almost 30 CS ahead.
He is really, really strong now, and I do worry a bit for Lakai in this game because I think while he does scale pretty well into the double 80 carry comp, starting this far behind is not what you'd wanted. And especially with that top gold difference, that's really what leads to the team gold gap too.
Yeah, and it's surprising, right? Because Lakai at this stage has played so much Jax, and Jax Renekton is probably the most common matchup there is in the top lane at the moment. And the fact he's found himself this far behind is definitely a concern. And Driver really put himself in a position to carry this game once again. Obviously, we saw yesterday BioPanthers Renekton pretty much 1v9ing a game, getting Chiefs across the line for their win. See if Driver can do much the same.
I think he is going to have to. Because the rest of Beyond are off to a pretty good start.
Bruce just yoinked Lalva's red.
We eat those. 116, he's getting the prior, doesn't have his first item yet. Isn't matched here from the shift from Minji either, but Gore Drinker on Driver. Forced to be reckoned with. Definitely don't want to take any fights near him if you're Beyond. Lakai will trade back 1 playing the top side, but still going to be pretty far away from item. Night Harvester comes through for Kongyue.
Yeah, that's an early Night Harvester. Admittedly, a very early Gore Drinker as well. Should be gold very heavily in favor of this Renekton. Now, Rift Shield used mid. Is Minji going to be able to get this gold? It doesn't look like it, so that gold should be going solely over to the Poppy. Certainly not where you want it to be, but admittedly, the health damage onto that mid tower, very important.
It is nice. Now, I think unlikely to see any fights until these neutrals come back up, but it really is going to be difficult for Beyond. I think they probably can get the second drag while Driver doesn't have TP. But any fight with Driver in it, I think, just should be an absolute wash right now. He's just way too strong. I mean, look at the top difference right now. Upper level, about to just take a tower in front of him and up so much CS too. Lakai is just, he is so far away from being useful.
Yeah. Now, Shock, I want you to look at Betty's items and tell me how useful does the Biscuit rune seem in this game?
He's got max mana if he sells them. Yeah, no, biscuits, they're definitely a bait.
Cosmic Insight is heavily overlooked a lot of the time.
Does he not have? Oh, no, he has Boots Biscuits, yeah.
Oh, coming top and Dominus popped. It is traded for that Jax ult, but Kongyue's in the area. Driver might just find himself dead here. Although it is very strong, it has to be said, Kongyue, no slouch in his own right. Explosive cask, nice flash from Driver, secures his safety. Very important that he wasn't going down there.
I think that was misplayed, though. I think Beyond should have been able to get that kill there. I mean, they have a lot of flashes they could invest, and they didn't end up doing it, so Drive ultimately ends up walking away. Did lose the flash, but so much is lost on the rest of the map as Betty forced away from that tower, loses some plates, and a mid plate picked up too. J-Team, they're in the bot side. A fight here without Driver might not be what they want,
though.
though.
Bruce popping the ult as well as Enso, but it's Kyrgios with that Magna Storm locking Bruce down for the time being, and Kongyue in the area does not have ult available, but feels like he is so strong, being that he has that first item completed. Bruce being left alive, nice steadfast presence to deny the engage from Kongyue. Body slam stop, Bruce tries to channel the recall, and it's Betty who flashes forward, gets the last hit, explosive barrel, and the snipe from 116. It's 2 kills found from nowhere for Beyond.
J-Team overreached, but now the croc on the top is here.
It is going to be a very nice knock-up found from Lalva, and Driver has arrived. They're trying to finish off Betty. They will do so. Minji gets himself out. There is no Dominus available, though, so this Croc isn't as potentially strong as he could have been. He's getting CC'd up a lot, but he does have access to that empowered Q to get himself some nice health back. Turns around, Gold Drinker procced, and it's going to be this counter-strike coming out of Lakai, who's going to have to back away. Driver almost has Dominus. It's, in fact, back up as we speak, and he is marching forward. This man is accelerating. He's going in, and he absolutely slaps down Kyrgios there with the empowered W. And we have a Croc problem.
We do. I think this is Driver against the world right now. Minji did pick up some kills. Of course, is a nice pickup, and maybe they can get the tower off the back of this as well. Looks like they will. Don't think Kongwei will be able to clear this one out. Gives that up. So more gold going into those J-Team solo laners, and they're going to have to try bring this one over the line. Let's get a look at this. J-Team, I think we're way too aggressive here on the bot side. Have definitely overstayed their welcome and probably don't win 4v4s. I think fights without Renekton at this point don't look too good, especially with those mythics completed for the Beyond mid-jungle, the Duskblade and the Night Harvester both. And so this fight obviously started out really good for Beyond. You can see a lot of damage coming through, and Betty somehow finding this kill onto Bruce was really big, but not sure how long the replay will go on for. They ended up overstaying their welcome with that Renekton coming down. Nice shock blast there. Did take him out as we head back to live. So Lakai did manage to get back at least a little bit of that CS deficit in the meantime, but it's still a very long time from being a credible threat. Mid lane CS, though, still really favored towards 1116, and I think a lot of that is Minji just overextending on the roam, right? Spending a lot of time grouped up with his team and not as much in that isolated lane, whereas the Jace oftentimes is cleaning up that wave, pushing another, and then moving.
I think interesting to note, oftentimes now we see the Kraken first for Tristana up against the Jace, but this game, Minji opting into their static shiv will mean the side lanes are a lot better for him, and it should keep Jace away from poking before objectives a little bit more than otherwise. This is an interesting thing to note.
How it started, I think wise from Beyond to give this one over, especially with the Renekton TP. I think at this point, your goal should pretty much just be to try and get more items. I think if you can get 3 items, Jace, Kai'Sa, and maybe a bit strong on your Jax, at that point you have a very solid chance of winning fights up against the Renekton. But right now, Dr. Ivor is just the king of the Rift, and you can't mess with him. Although they might bring 4 members down to mess with him. There is a TP on Minji.
Oh, he's denying the minion wave from getting in. He's going to have to pop Dominus. He's actually just... We saw this last game. Deny as much time as possible. He's going to not be able to deny all that much, though. Gore Drinker will not be up. Does go down. And it's Betty on this Kai'Sa who picks it up.
Can
in the
they
meantime,
dive?
They are picking up at least a tower for their troubles mid. And looking on 116, who just used the teleport. He's getting stunned up, but does manage to find a way to flash out. And now Kongwei has arrived. And this is now a firing range. 116 being the benefactor of both of those kills. And now Beyond finding themselves a pretty happy place in this game, although things happening everywhere. Minji now on the top side, finding a bit of damage on this top lane tower, as Kongwei once more is trying to find an angle.
Minji no flash. He might not be out.
He might not be. Enso's in the area and might just have to try and find a way to help Minji, but it doesn't look like it's possible. Minji, you are not long for the world. Buster shot will delay his death, but not for that long, as all the CC comes down and another shutdown onto Betty's Kai'Sa.
And 2 shutdowns onto Betty's Kai'Sa. That feels just criminal at this point. And while gold lead it only slightly favors Beyond, I'm really liking their chances now. They're going to accelerate their carry so much. So in the meantime, while that play was going on to Driver 116, he's doing a good job to play pretty safe and try to clear this out. And I think it's so crucial that he manages to survive, because if he does go down for free, they probably do lose more towers, and I don't think there'll be any chase after that. But staying alive for Kongwei to come up and just send them here, that water does so much damage. And yeah, they're so happy. They know how big a win that is, the Beyond coaching staff. Just look at the carry items now. That's pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, Betty really being the benefactor of a couple of misplays, really, around the Rift there by J-Team. Now, admittedly, Driver, still very strong. Has his 2 items spike, and it is just ahead of both the Baron spawning and the second Dragon for either team, which could be a talking point. I think at this stage, maybe you'd even still favor J-Team to win the fights, but the acceleration coming forward onto Betty may not mean that that's true. Although here we see another fight breaking out. It is going to be an immediate kill found from Bruce. It's a shutdown onto 116, and now they're trying to run away. Wall bang from Lava, knock up follows it. Minji picking up that one, and there is 46 seconds until this Baron's up, so it won't be able to come through, but maybe just looking at this top lane in a tower.
Yep, they got that shutdown. Not too sure who the J shutdown went to, but if it went
Bruce.
Okay, so that's a pretty big pickup. Driver did TP into that fight, though, and having no TP could be a bit problematic. I think the rest of Beyond know that they can continue to fight on that other side. And while Beyond might give a kill back here and there, I think as long as Betty doesn't die and continues farming, it still feels like the Betty condition well and truly online. Down 2,000 gold, but you don't feel like it's the end of the world at this point. Lakai will start getting strong soon, I think, even despite his misplays in the early game. Double Navori here, though, for J-Team. So I think at this, Dragon and Baron in particular, J-Team should be stronger, especially with the Renekton grouped. And I think if you're Beyond, just try and delay. Giving over a Dragon would be fine. Giving over a Baron, though, would not. And I wouldn't be surprised if J-Team try and force. But maybe with Kongyue, Jace, and the Kai'Sa, that's a lot of poke. Do you want to start it up against that? I don't think you can.
Oh my god, Bruce is almost dead.
Yep, the poke is just too much. If they can force a fight, though, it would be good for J-Team, but the poke...
Bruce has to recall. He's too low, and you can't do this.
No.
This is just a great... Driver's just permanently in dominance. He's so dominating, he's just always in dominance on our screens.
I think this is good for Beyond, though. Just keep delaying this. Is that bugged?
It must be. It is. But maybe it's just the effect, the driver effect.
It could be. He runs the rift. Okay, so Dragon not looked at. I think J-Team can go to it. I think Beyond can probably just give it up, maybe trade the top tier one. Once they get those 3 items, though, coming in on their carries, I think will be well and truly online.
Even Lava taking a non-laughable amount of damage from a non-empowered Jace Q.
Yeah.
And they're building a lot of MR, which feels like they're just trying to answer the fact that Betty got a bunch of shutdowns, but 116 is very scary. And he's going to be even scarier once that 3rd item comes through, and look at the damage being dealt.
Yeah. Now they have the potential to start up the Baron here, just in the 4v4, because they know Renekton does not have TP, and if they could just bait a 4v4 fight, they could maybe win it. At the same time, they probably don't need to risk it. I think they can slow down the game, but it's Beyond. They're going to risk it.
Yep, Kongyue slurping up a bit of his drink, and good timing on that Oracle lens. Scrying orb, I believe, actually. Does spot out that it was started, and so they do get off it immediately.
Driving now around.
Yeah, looks like they're going forward. Bruce!
Oh, he ulted.
That was very, very scary. Lakai was prepping that counter-strike, but now Zeri without ult isn't the team fight threat that Zeri with ult can be. And with that cooldown down, it is now this Baron being started up. It's very hard to face check. No one really can tank up the poke. Maybe Driver having a bit more sustain than the rest. And they saw Lakai jumping over that pit. They know he's in there. Staying nice and safe. These Void Seekers, though, continuing to hurl down from up above.
This back and forth is so good for Beyond. I think if no objectives are taken and the game continues to stall out, especially if Driver is not making any headway, whether that be in the side lane or in team fights, that's so, so good. Even got his recall cancelled there, which is, of course, really annoying, as that gives more chances for poke to land.
He does have teleport now, though, so it does make this Baron a little bit more scary because that teleport allows for potential flanks. And really, I think at this stage, you kind of have to look for a flank, try and find an angle to find this Jace, to find this Kai'Sa, to stop them from landing all the poke. And Driver, he really is the only person that can walk in and try and take down these wards. Everyone else is taking just too much damage, being that they are such low level.
3 items on the Jace. Has the Serylda's very important spike.
Oh.
Ouch. Wait, Bruce.
Oh, no. Oh, no, Bruce, you're in trouble. Okay, Kerez goes a bit white there, but Betty does come in. Killer Instinct does manage to find the kill there as Enzo proxy ult. Driver flashes forward, does find the stun, and Betty solo busts the shot. Minji has hit everyone away, but it's still Driver in the middle of 4. He's healing up, he's trying to do what he can, but it's not enough. And now it's going to be another team fight won there by Beyond. That busted shot almost sealing the deal for their own team.
I think he saved them. That was a fight that maybe J-Team could have won with the scuffed engage from Kerez. Oh, and so he's going to limp away. But now Beyond in full control. They're going to get this Baron. They can probably reset and take the Dragon as well. I really hope we do get a replay of that, because that was an insane fight. One that could have really gone either way. Just missed execution, I think, on both sides. But Beyond, they're ahead. Let's see it. So initially, this starts off with big poke landed from the 3-item Jace onto Bruce. It's followed up by Betty. I think Betty wouldn't need to commit his flash if this engage were better, but has to ult in and immediately flash out. But then, you're thinking, okay, Betty has nothing. He's stuck in the corner. But Minji, he thought he could burst him, sends them all away. Flashes after, just into his death, really. And it was a really nice flash thing from 116 here. Dodged the Poppy E, just barely. Or maybe it hit Lakai, I can't even tell. But either way, it was an extremely close team fight. You see the health bars after, and Minji clearly knows he messed up. It's unfortunate.
Oh, the damage onto Bruce is absurd. And with this Baron buff now, as well as the engage tools really being lost, Driver no longer with that flash means getting onto Betty is almost an impossibility.
Yeah,
it is just going to be all these towers picked up from beyond. It's the mid lane inner, it's going to be the bot lane inner. And admittedly, Minji trying to make some headway up in the top side. He might actually force out a recall because he will do a lot of damage to this tower. It is still going to be beyond though, pressuring on in the bot lane. They're trying to use the Poppy ult to clear this minion wave, and in fact they do. Minji being matched by Lakai now. How much damage did he get to the tower? I'm not entirely sure. It looks very, very low. And I think that is pretty much the best thing Minji could be doing.
Yeah.
While maybe the Static Shiv helps with this clearing of the minions, it does feel like you can't really contest the fight. Although, admittedly, Lakai won't be able to be here. This can be a 4v5. There is no teleport on the Jax, as long as you don't lose too much health beforehand. But there is just so much poke coming out from the Gragas, Jace, and Kai'Sa.
They are managing to store it out for now. Beyond, I guess they thought they could do more with this Baron because they ignored this dragon the whole time. It's still up.
Yeah,
they're going to keep pressuring.
No real dragon win condition this game, it feels.
No. Lakai is going to knock on that top tower, though, so they probably can take quite a bit of gold away here, even if they can't break the base.
Kai's teleport's still not up, so if JT look before they get poked out, still could be a possible avenue for them to find a team fight win, although that being said, how do you look for a fight? It has to be a Hex Flash from the Alistair, and these pokes landing on him.
It's just like playing dodgeball.
It is, except if the dodgeball hits you, it kills you.
I suppose it does. Okay, level 16 for the Jace. Driver pops a dominance. They want to try force something.
I think they might just be trying to put out the pressure to deny this tower going down, although Magnet Storm committed. And it is only this cannon wave left. And are they going to be able to take it out? This is the last wave of the Baron. But it looks like they aren't actually able to take out this last minion. And with that, the base is broken. Bot lane inhib tower does go down. And now despite not having the Baron anymore, you can still try to make siege onto that inhib if you so choose. But it looks like recalls are going to come through and likely to head towards that dragon.
I think so. Shojin here picked up for Lakai as well, which feels really, really good into this sort of composition. Probably work on the Zhonya's next. He's got the stopwatch and the Amtome. Those are going to be really big. I think critically as well for J-Team, they have the lifesteal, and they did actually have it before the Baron. I think the problem was, or maybe the problem still is, that Beyond feels so far ahead that you can land more poke almost than the lifesteal can do right now until they get a little bit stronger. A stopwatch there picked up for Bruce is going to make it a bit harder to take him down, but it feels like Beyond's backline out DPSs and out pokes. They just have everything right now. Konglei's even getting some healing reduction, which not often I think is a great choice, but this game I think is a pretty solid argument for it. He did this another game yesterday too, I think, or day before.
I hope it wasn't yesterday. He played only AD champs yesterday. Well, yeah. Whatever day it was. Now, what do you do here as J-Team? Because it feels like it's very hard for you to win a fight, because it's very hard for you to find a way onto this team without walking into so much poke beforehand. And now, with the Baron spawning in 2 minutes, maybe that is something you just have to try and force a fight around. Try and keep those summoners up and use it to try get onto Betty, because Betty does not have cleanse. So if the Renekton does find his way onto Betty, can force out the flash, the heal, maybe even the ult, there is an avenue where you could potentially win. Because Zeri, if she is allowed to auto attack, will do a lot of damage. Same can be said for Minji. But it's just about trying to find the fight before you lose your entire health bar from the Jace or the Kai'Sa.
Pretty much, and there's more poke as well, right? It can come from the Gragas too.
Yep.
Has been landing some barrels, and I think they are looking for it here.
Magnet Storm is onto 3 of them. Minji does not managed to get away, but Lava's getting very low, as is Kira's. It looks like Kira's might be going down. Minji picking that one up from itself. Counter-Strike now down as Minji trying to wail here onto Lakai, but on the bottom side, you see that it is Betty who picks up a kill onto Bruce, and Minji not doing any damage to this Jax. Driver's doing a fine job of trying to zone, but with the killer instinct available, Betty finds his way into the fight nonetheless, and it's now Driver against the world, and with Driver's GA being procced, he's likely not long for this world, and with that goes J-Team. It feels like now, just dotting your T's, crossing your T's and dotting your I's, getting this game over with. It feels like it's about to be 3-0 in favor of Beyond.
It will, and I think definitely not the way people expected this series to go. Not only one-sided, but BYG, the ones who are going to pick up the 3-0 victory here. Really great signs for them going on to the rest of the playoffs here. Lava, he's going to try to do something, but something is not enough. They pick up the win. They pick up the Nexus. Really nice performance from them.